welcome to the next video in this series about chart basics. This video is going to look at Saturn. If you've been following the previous videos, those videos have shown the movement of the points in relation to the Sun. This particular video is actually going to look at the movement of Saturn in relation to Saturn when someone was born. So this chart is actually two charts in one, and Saturn is represented here by the fancy looking H. The segment that is the inner circle represents the birth, and the outer circle represents passage of time, which I'm going to demonstrate by advancing the time by 1 full year at a time. What happens is that Saturn will return to itself every roughly 28 to 29 years. And as I advance 1 year at a time, you will see Saturn's movement away from the birth point, and it begins to work its way around the rest of the chart. What's significant about Saturn is that its return represents one of the great returns in and great transits in our lives. Usually the first 28 to 29 years of our lives represent the karma that we have to work through before we begin to really individuate in this lifetime. Now, what is particularly significant about Saturn is that as astrologers, we pay attention not only to the return, but to what is considered the 4 different pieces of its transition as it works its way around, which involves the square, the opposition, a second square, and then the return itself. So here at 2026, the Saturn is in a square relationship with itself, which is 7 years from the time the person was born. So roughly every 7 years, there's going to be a significant opposition or square, and then eventually the return. So as we continue to advance this, we will see that Saturn will work its way towards the opposition. Now, what Saturn represents in the chart is our rules and our structure. So depending on where Saturn was when we were born will determine how we try to form structures in our lives. In this particular example, Saturn is in Capricorn, so it's in its own sign, so it's quite powerful. And it represents the energy of the large structures economically, our responsibilities. It rules Capricorn in the 10th house, which is considered the house of the provider or the house of prosperity. So from the time that this person was born, the cycle will bring Saturn back around over top of itself in 2048. So the idea of Saturn's movement is how do we pressure test our lives? And when Saturn returns at 28, 29, and then again at 56 to 58, we have overall lifetime pressure testing. So, as with all the videos, I hope you find this little bit of information helpful and interesting to you. And thank you for listening.